Hey, alright, we're going to talk about some cool picking exercises based on all riffs I have in songs that I've written. The first one we'll talk about is the beginning riff of my song Alone Together, which this is what it is.
Maybe I fall in love too fast, don't know how long this pain will last. Maybe my heart is in the past.
So, it's all based on these like 3-note chords and all on this one picking pattern. So, the first one's the F power chord. So, it starts off like this. So, what you're going to do is you'll do 2 downstrokes to start and then 1 upstroke, where that's like getting across all the strings. I've seen a lot of people try to play this, and I think what they've been doing and why they find it so difficult at times is that they try to alternate pick the whole thing. Which, you know, might seem like the easiest way to do it, but I actually find it a bit harder. So this is the way I do it. I do 2 downstrokes, then 1 upstroke to start, and then it goes down, up, down, up, down, like that kind of thing. That's just kind of how I always intuitively felt to do it, so that's just how I play it. So that's the first pattern of it, is just the F power chord. And then the next one, which was where this starts to get a little bit more difficult for some people, you'll see now this incorporates a bit of string skipping, so it goes to the G minor, which is just the G, open D, and the 3rd fret on the G, which is B flat. So you get the root, 5th, flat 3rd, and you start to do the same pattern with those 3 strings. So you have to try to cleanly get across from the E string to the D string without, you know, hitting any other strings, any other noises, whatever. So that's where that one gets a little more challenging, but you practice it, maybe just go, you know, just all downstrokes, just to try to get used to that. And then the next one is B flat, so that's going to be B flat, open D, B flat again, so it's just root, 3rd, octave. Same picking pattern as before, just no string skipping now. Next one is C, so you can make your regular C shape, but you're only going to play these 2 up here, and then the C up on the B string there. Now this is string skipping again, so this can be a little bit difficult, but you know, same deal as before. Just practice it, and you'll get used to it in no time. I believe the tempo of this song is around 175. If not, you know, just play it to the track and see how close you can get it. So altogether, it sounds like this. So just get used to that pattern, and you know, work it up to speed. Start slow if you need to, and then yeah, that's how you play the opening riff of Alone Together. We'll talk about another song now. No pun intended. Here's a song called Now. We'll talk about the opening riff of this one as well. So this is what it sounds like. So that's tuned down to E flat, so this will sound a little bit different. But how you do that, I do this as kind of a hybrid picking thing. I mean, you could probably do it without it, just be a little bit more difficult, but this is how I play it. So this is the riff, and then I'll explain it. So watch my right hand as I do that now. So I'm picking some notes and using my middle finger to pick some other notes. So basically anything, it's all on the G, B, and E string up top. So basically whatever I'm doing is I'm picking all of the G string notes, and then my middle finger is picking the rest. So it starts with this kind of alternate pattern at the 7th fret. So your middle finger will stay on the 7th fret of the G string the entire time. So the kind of pattern is like an alternating between the 7th fret and open B. And then, you know, every other, or however the pattern, you know, every other time or something, I hit the high E string, and that's the note that moves. So that'll move from 7 to 5 to 4. So So that's kind of how the pattern goes. So it's like alternating between. So every other, it's like switching off constantly between the strings. So you're always gonna hit like the G string every other time. It's a little tough to get used to. It's kind of a weird riff. I remember when I wrote it, I just thought it was like really kind of bizarre, but it's kind of fun. It's fun to play when you get it up to speed. Like, So this is a triplet pattern. I believe it's eighth note triplets. The tempo of this song is 145. I'm pretty sure. So that's how you can get used to that. The key is trying to get that triplet feel to it, and that's kind of a little bit of the more challenging part of it, I think. So that's the other thing to get used to too, is this wide stretch on the last part. So because what I do is I'll do like middle finger on the G string, pinky on the E string, and then use my first finger as it moves to the 5th fret, and then just stretch further for the 4th fret. And that's how you do the opening riff to Now, which is pretty cool. We'll get into a really difficult one now, which is also in the same song. It's a really crazy kind of string skipping thing I came up with right before the guitar solo, so this is what that sounds like. It'll come in from the previous riff. So that one's, this one still messes me up a lot of times, but it's fun to play once you get it. So what that one sounds like is like this. See if I can do this correctly. Put the gain up a little bit. Not bad. So the concept of this one is pretty interesting. So you're basically dealing with the chord progression of like B minor, and then A, then like E7. So that's like kind of the rhythm that's underneath it. So what I came up with is this kind of really interesting string skipping kind of pattern for this. So so the first chord is B minor, so the first two shapes are based on B minor. So you'll have the first two here on the 9th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the G string, 7th fret of the high E string. So you're skipping the B string. And then on the same 3 strings, you move up to the next shape, which is the 12th fret of the D, 11th fret of the G, and then 10th fret of the E. So this is another one that is pretty hard, and you got to get the right pattern, I think, to play it smoothly. So I do 2 down, kind of same as Alone Together. I do 2 downstrokes, then 1 upstroke. Which, if you've never done a lot of downstrokes, this can be pretty difficult to get up to speed. So that's the next part. So after you get these 2 shapes down, so I kind of slide down 1 fret once I'm here. So go slide from 10 to 9, and then you kind of just come down a B minor pentatonic scale. So it's like 12-10 on the B string, 11-9 on the G string, and then 12th fret of the D. And other than the slide note at the beginning, I'm picking all that. So that altogether, that's the first pattern. The second pattern is the A major one. So same kind of concept. You'll do up here. So 7th fret of the D string, 6th fret of the G string, 5th fret of the E string, and then the next one is the 11th fret of the D string, the 9th fret of the G string, and 9th fret of the E string. same picking pattern. And then now this one gets a little bit more confusing because now there's no slide. You got to get really smooth with the picking on the descending lick after. So you're hitting kind of similar notes as you would before. It's almost actually the same lick, just kind of moved like back one note in a way within the scale. So you're doing like at the top of this, you're doing then the same thing on the B string, 12-10, and then G string, 11-9. And then now the only difference here is you have the 12-11 on the D string. So that's that whole pattern. So altogether, up to this point, it's that one only plays once. The B minor one goes through twice. The A major one goes through once, and then this last one, which I think is the most difficult of them, is the E7 based one. So you'll start at the 6th fret of the D string, the 4th fret of the G string, and the 4th fret of the E string. So it's like this. This one's hard, but you got to kind of also take note of like where like the pull-offs and other things are, and so it's like this. So instead of this one moving into 2 different shapes, this one I kept kind of in place. So it's like I've said, that first pattern, and then now it's going to be. So you're doing the 4th fret of the G string and hammer on to the 7th fret, and then 7th fret of the E string. And then you'll slide down pretty much, or not slide down, but use hammer on going into an E7 arpeggio. So after you end up here, and then pull off from 5 to 4 on the E string, and then 5th fret of the B string, then G string, it's pulling off from 7 to 4, and then hit the 6th fret of the D string. It's tough. It's really tough. So up to that whole thing. Yeah, it's hard, but it's fun. So, but I think it's really challenging, and it's a really interesting thing to try to play because my mindset was just like moving shapes of the chords like into two different spots to make an interesting lick. So this is B minor, and this is also B minor because it's, and then the A major, and then the E7, which, you know, I could have moved up here, but I thought it was easier to play it when I keep it all in place here. Otherwise it'd be like, it doesn't make any sense. It's hard. So those are the 3 interesting licks. You know, try to practice those if you want, and, you know, if you've made it this far, thanks for checking this out.